If you're looking for a camper that's ready to go for long-term camping, like 3, 4, 5, 6 months of camping at a time, look no further than the massive Host campers. They build some of the largest campers in the industry, and behind me we have the Cascade. This is going to be in their mid-range with 2 slides and starting at 3,500 pounds without options added on. Now, there is plenty to say about this. Built in Bend, Oregon, and one of the biggest things with that is those are some outdoor-oriented people. One of the best cities in the world if you want to play in the outdoors, and it shows in the construction and design of these Host campers. Let's dive into this Cascade and see what makes this one of the most exceptional options if you're looking for long-term travel on a truck camper. With an 8-foot width going down the road, the slides on either side definitely add a lot of room on the interior. The freshwater is going to be 62 gallons of fresh, 43 gallons of gray, and 32 gallons of black. That is going to give you a ton of liquid storage on your camper. Now, if we look at the storage space, that is one of the huge benefits of having this big of a camper. And I'm going to use huge, big, massive, gigantic, because that's the only words that are fit to describe a Host camper. So I pull this down. This is going to have the 2 6-volt battery option for this. One big thing to note on Host campers is that if you do not order the lithium package from the factory, it will they don't support adding lithium after the fact. So if you were interested in lithium, please make sure you get it ordered from the factory or find one on the lot that is already ordered from the factory with a lithium package. This one, 2 6-volts, ample amount of storage for your solar power, anything power related that you may need. And if we pull this out, one of the big benefits with just doing that versus the larger lithium packages is that you get this full tray. Now, my wingspan is 6.5 feet, so that's going about 7 feet in there. That is an amazing amount of storage. I mean, if you were really desperate and someone was visiting, I mean, that's not the best bunk, but it's bunk. If we put that in there, this is going to be probably cut in half if you get the 4-battery lithium package. So it definitely cuts down on the storage space, but if you're storing for power versus actual storage, that's the way to go. The roofs on these are going to be one-piece TPO roofs. That's going to be great against sun degradation, hold up a long time over time, and it's also a fully walkable roof. To get up there, you do have this fat ladder on the back. The biggest con I'd see with this is you're either jumping from your top step of your camper, or you've got some really good upper body strength and maybe not worried about putting your feet on here, because even to me at 6'5", that first step is almost 5 feet off the ground, or 4 feet off the ground. One of the other things I'll say while we're on the back side of this camper is that all the windows are going to be insulated. Host does do a great job because they have such a large camper, getting a lot of light in there. This is going to be one of the larger windows you're going to find on any truck camper. Really well designed, especially on the rear end of a camper, because that's where usually you're getting your view. You're going to back up to the view of something, so you're not seeing your neighbors, you're not seeing the front of your truck, but you're actually getting the view of the nature that you're in. So coming around to the driver's side, this is going to be your driver's side slide, almost the entire length of the camper. Now this right here is going to be your generator compartment. It's got the venting on the side. Now this is large enough to fit in a Honda portable generator, but it also houses your outdoor shower. So this one's outfitted with a generator on board. Usually you see the Onans. This is a Flex Power. It's actually designed out of Columbus, Ohio. And so that's been working well for them in terms of power. You do have 110 outlets as well as your coax attachments right there. It's kind of nice to just have one compartment with everything in here, really easily accessible, and they did make it just a little bit larger so you can fit those Honda generators in if you don't end up getting this generator package. We can talk about solar in a second. That is, there's massive packages that you can put on this for solar. Flipping the camera around, we are on the driver's side front end of this camper. There's a lot going on here. So let me dive in. This is going to be your Ryco jacks. There's 4 Ryco jacks on there, always on a dually bracket, just because these are such heavy campers. Again, look into your truck specifications to be able to hold these, or feel free to give us a call. We have plenty of experience, over 50 years of experience, matching the right truck to the right camper to get you out on the road safely. Up top, we do have slide top awnings on all of this, and you'll see on the other side we actually have the slide topper awning on the slide, as well as the actual awning for enjoyment over that. That's very rare to see in the truck camper world. Again, dual pane windows for insulation and a molded fiberglass front cap that does wrap around, so you don't have that brunt of material going into that seam. It has a much harder time, if at all, trying to work its way into a seam way back here. This is triple sealed on this seam right here. And then up top, you can just see the edge of it. Well, you do have your gutter railing system there that keeps the water from streaking down the sides, spits it off so you don't have those lines that develop. So you can just see the solar panel up top. That does allude to the solar package that's on this one. I do believe it is a 400 watt package on this one, which is 2 200 watt solar panels. You can get up to 6 panels or 1200 watts on board, which is an absolute ludicrous amount of solar. But if you are out there going for the long term and you have high electricity usage, or if you're running an inverter and you've got a big battery setup, then that may be a good option for you. So the last couple of things up here, this is going to be for your truck connection. It does pull out, so you don't need to get an extra dongle for that. You just plug it right into usually you have a truck bed plug right on the driver's side of your truck bed. If you don't have one, we can add one in for you. This is going to be the last compartment on the front, and this is going to house your 63-gallon fresh water tank. So again, having that weight distributed correctly on a camper, you don't want this way in the back sloshing around. Having it forward on your truck so it sits near the center of your truck is going to be the best for your truck setup. What you'll see on here is these nice reflective windows actually cut down on the heat getting into your camper. With that reflective property, it reflects a lot of those UV rays coming in, which makes it a lot cooler camper on the interior. This one is outfitted with exterior speakers, and you also have this, which is your propane tank holder. These are going to be 2 30-pound tanks, plenty of propane for being out there, throwing up the barbecue and having some good eats. This right here is just going to be a little access to some of your electrical system. This is going to be just a fuse box on that for the refrigerator. Up front, this is going to be where you have your tie-down bits. Again, another outdoor speaker and your Ryco jacks on there. These are all 2,500 pound capacity. So in total, you have 1,000 pound capacity with your jacks. Plenty to lift and lower this camper with ease. And up top, you've got your full range of motion on the awning. Let me throw that out so you can see what this looks like. Again, this has a slide top awning. They put the awning over that for enjoyment. So you have double the protection, both for you while you're outside against the sun and for your slide. Here's the awning all the way extended. You do have plenty of room to be able to get some shade in here. We actually have it set up quite nicely so I can get some ample shade from the sun that's kind of positioned over there. It's probably looking a little bit nicer on camera now, but good awning, fits nicely over the slide topper awning, just for your great outdoor enjoyment. So now let's take a look inside this 2026 Host Cascade and see what the room looks like on the interior. As someone who's 6'5", I'm very interested to find out how the height is for me and how I can move about in this particular camper. There's one large step right at the edge there, which makes it a little bit awkward, and especially when you're working on the stove, you want to make sure not to fall into. But other than that, coming into this space, you're welcomed with a very wide open area. Even though the passageway through here is a little bit narrow, it's perfectly set up for cooking. Now, if we look at the pantry side, there's going to be plenty of room for not only storage of your food and utensils, but also if you wanted to kick off your shoes and stick it in that bottom cubby there, an easy place to do it. Right at the base here, you do have your battery switch, as well as your slide mechanisms. and your awning, as well as your entryway light. So it's really easy. Before you even step into your camper, you can just open the door and hit those buttons and slide everything out. One thing that you'll note is that when this is all slid in, the kitchen, all of this cabinetry, all the way up to here, that's all in the fridge, which you'll see in a second, that all slides in. So you really don't have an option of coming in and running in and getting to the fridge or the bathroom when these are slid in. Now the storage does continue on. It's not very deep, but it is plenty to give you enough for your food storage. And then around on this side, a lot more storage over here. There is different options for the kitchen setup. This one's just set up with a standard 2-burner stove, big sink, microwave. So we're coming around the side here, so this is a better look at the kitchen. A fair bit of prep space, some of it you'll have to reach to. The sink is going to be one big basin sink. This is actually all molded in, so there's no lip. It doesn't sit under the countertop. It is just a part of the countertop, which is really nice just to scoop everything in, get everything rinsed up, and be on your way. Easy pull down for the hose on the sink. And if you love getting a view while you're cooking, you do have this big window right here, which all has blackout curtains or just a shade curtain, so you can get a nice view while you're cooking. I just keep those down to keep the lighting a little bit better in here. This is going to be just a large storage up top. Again, your convection microwave, 2-burner stove, a lot of storage under here for pots and pans, especially this big basin right under the 2-burner stove, and then a little one for maybe utensils and spatulas. And then moving forward, nice deep doors, all solid wood, nice and set up. Even the base is going to be pretty solid on those. And those are little push clicks, so you don't get your pants caught on them when you're walking through. Now the fridge on here, this is going to be a Dometic 12-volt fridge. There's a couple different options for the fridge itself. Because this is set up with 400 watts of solar and 2 6-volt batteries, the draw from this is not going to be too bad. So the 12 volts have come a long ways. I'll leave it up to you guys in the comments whether you like 12 volts, 2 ways, what have you for the fridge types. I know the debate is out for a lot of people. For me personally, I like them. They cool down faster. You can run them while you're driving down the road without any issues, and it's just kind of a little bit more of a convenience to go with one power source. So on the interior, I'm 6'5". This is a 78-inch interior height. I can stand up, I can stretch up and really not hit that top. So I feel comfortable moving around in here, except for the AC. Now the AC is an optional AC. You can get it with or without. It does add, I think, 5 inches to the overall height of the camper if you do have a storage area that you're looking to keep it just under. But the AC by far and away is just such a good option to have to be able to cool down the space. I would definitely recommend it even if you're as tall as I am, because where it's placed, you're really not going to be running into it. You're either going to the dinette, the seating area, or the kitchen, and kind of moving around that area. Or moving into the entertainment area, this is going to be up top, your panel for seeing your solar. Again, this one's going to be 400. You can get all the way up to 1200. You've got some of your light switches for the exterior out here, or up here. So your awning light, your area light, your porch light. And then you have your tank monitoring system, which is going to be a little bit different of a digital tank monitoring system, which is nice to have. This is going to be your flex power generator operation. So you can prime it on and off. You got your hours. And you're good to go. So that makes it really easy and convenient to have all those systems tucked up right there. Below that, you have a USB and USB 3 port if you just want to charge anything up on this little shelf here. You got your entertainment Jensen system here. And then you do have the option for a fireplace that's going to run off of 110 for the heat. So that's the entertainment system. You've kind of looked at what the height is, the entertainment system. This is kind of the interesting setup that the Cascade does, is you have your entry and your kitchen over here, and then on this side of your entertainment area near the rear of the camper is going to be your restroom. So if we dive into here, I would love to show you, but first things first, again, because you have such a large camper, it's nice to have such a large window. This is going to be very reflective, so it's hard to see in, but it also opens everything up when you are able to just keep this open if no one's using it. and then it's a nice easy pull down on the blackout curtain if you want a little bit more privacy. Stepping into the shower here, it's going to be a nice big rectangular shower. Plenty of room to stand up. I am going into the sunroof a little bit here, but I do have the ability to move around, take a shower. Pretty crazy shower head, but it's easy to hold on to, nice to move around. So lots of room to be able to take a shower, even if you're a taller individual or bigger individual. This does have, there's a lot of debate about this guy. I tend to like it. I think I like the hanging curtain a little bit more, just because you have that curtain rod that can bend out, give you a little bit more room, but this does just fine. So in the rest of the bathroom space, it is a very large dry bath. This section is actually part of the ginormous slide on the driver's side slide. This all will move in, but you have your sink, great. Medicine cabinet back here, lots of storage. One thing that is a downside for taller individuals is because this is on a slide, the ceiling of this area is going to be a little bit lower. It's not so much a problem for the sink, but the toilet is up high on here. So when I sit on this, I am a bit cramped and I am kind of tucked up in here real tight. If I sit up, I can't sit up straight or I'll hit my head on this. But outside of that, I don't really see a downside to this bathroom. It's just so large. It is just an exceptional addition to something that can fit on the back of a truck. This is bigger than some trailer bathrooms. I also just wanted to point out one thing on the building construction. So this is the only swinging door on the interior of the camper. They put a piano hinge all the way along because it is a high use door. So you don't just have one or two hinges, it's one ginormous hinge all the way through. Kind of speaks to the building construction of these host campers. Moving out of the bathroom and towards the eating area or the dinette. This is set up with a little bit of an L-shaped dinette. There are different layouts and options for this particular area. And I will attach those in an image somewhere around here so you can see that. Now, lagoon style table. I always love these lagoon tables just because if it's just jammed one side or the other, it's really hard to use. But now we can move it all around, move it into a situation where you might put an extra chair out over there, especially if you were working from these campers. There's just so much room to spread out on this. You can actually put 4 plates on here comfortably. It's a usable dinette. So still sitting here in the dinette, this is going to be something that you have the great option of if you're sitting in those chairs and you're sitting here, it's kind of a communal space, which is really nice. If I jump over here, I'll show you these recliners. Now this is the leatherette style recliner. It's actually pretty comfortable. It's really easy to clean off. I've seen the cloth ones. It's pretty big threads, a little bit of a rougher feel, and maybe a little bit harder to clean off especially if you have pets or if you spill something on it. This is nice and easy to wipe off. These guys do have the little ripcord recliners. And if I push it all the way back, it's about where it reclines. Nice setup for the TV. I'm always just large for things, but still comfy for me nonetheless. The mirror behind here definitely opens up the space quite a bit from how open it already is. And the lights on here are actually daylight balanced. So if you're moving from interior to exterior, your eyes don't have to adjust nearly as much. For some, that might be a benefit because they like that. It depends really what you like at home, whether it's kind of that more yellow light, that warmer light, or this more brighter blue daylight balanced light. So one of the bigger considerations that I always think about when thinking about a truck camper is how do you get into the bed? Some of these truck campers, you really have to almost get a running start or you've got like a drop down ladder to get up there because it's so high up there. This one, you do have to crawl into the bed because you're coming in from the driver's side. But getting up in there, this jump is not nearly as high. There's plenty of garage space underneath that actually raises the floor up and you can get closer to that cab over section, which is the bed here. So I'll show you, you can even step on this as a little step stool to get onto there, and it makes it easy. So one step there, and you're crawling in. All right, so king or queen, that's the big question for a lot of these bigger truck campers. Well, this one right here is going to be a queen size mattress, but you do have the option for a full king size mattress. In addition, this has the 2 hanging lockers on either side. You can get a full side locker or storage compartment if you wanted more storage in the bedroom. That would delete one of the windows, so would make it a little bit darker in here, and you don't get as much as that airflow that you can get with 2 windows going through. Easy to climb around in, which I really like. Lots of headspace, especially in a bigger camper like this. Nice little pad right here. Put everything that you want up. Standard USB, USB 3, as well as 110s. And then these nice reading lights that do swivel and have an extra USB port on there as well. Now, when you're talking about AC, one of the big questions is, where does the AC go? Mainly it's going to be going out of the central unit up front, which is going to cool down that space really nice. But say you have this curtain closed across to the bedroom and you want AC in here, it is ducted straight in overhead, which is fantastic, especially on hot days. You can also get that cross ventilation with the 2 windows if you don't get the roadside ward. You can also open up what we have up here, which is the escape hatch, which does give you a lot of ventilation. And you do have a pullover bug screen on that as well. So this has been the Host Cascade. This is one of Host's best performing truck campers on the market, from its size and compatibility to the options available. And speaking of options, from its bed sizes to its solar packages to even the colorways on its tables, you have the option to really customize these campers to fit your needs. If you are interested in any of those options, we have sales associates that are well versed in each one to be able to fit it to your needs. Now, if you're interested in whether this will fit on the back of your truck or not, that's a big discussion that we are happy to have with you, because we have been doing this for over 50 years, and we would love to see you be out of here with something that's safe or nothing at all, than send you out of here with something that's unsafe. If you did like this walkthrough, please feel free to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next one.